A North Korean state security officer spent 25 years interrogating innocent people. Then one day she had to torture her own friend's husband. That's when Lieutenant Colonel Ri Hye-jin broke. She couldn't do it anymore. So she did something unthinkable. She convinced 15 other women officers to escape with her. 16 mothers risking execution to save their daughters. This is their story of crossing the deadliest border on Earth because some things are worth dying for. Now let's begin the shocking story. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Your subscriptions and likes mean a lot to us and truly support our work. It all started like this. May 2018, when spring flowers bloomed across Pyongyang. My name is Ri Hye-jin, a pseudonym, of course. I was 50 years old at the time, a lieutenant colonel in the State Security Department. In Western military terms, that's roughly equivalent to a mid-level officer. Sounds glamorous? Not at all. On the surface, I was elite. Beneath that, I was a prisoner under constant surveillance. My department was special. We managed female personnel around Kim Jong-un and his family secretaries, guides, cooks. I monitored them all. Were they having dangerous thoughts, problems with men, clean family backgrounds? Everything had to be reported. I was one of Kim Jong-un's inner circle. That was my position. But do you know how dangerous that position was? Even more so because I was a woman. My male colleagues would say things like, "What can a woman possibly do in the State Security Department?" I climbed to this rank through sheer capability, but promotions stopped. Stuck at lieutenant colonel for 20 years. And that wasn't even the worst part. I could be labeled a honey trap at any moment. One wrong move that upset Kim Jong-un, and it was over. Every morning at 6 a.m., I opened my eyes in my Daedonggang district apartment in Pyongyang. Know what the first thing I did was? Bowed to the portraits of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. You never knew who might be watching. I lived with a constant fear that listening devices could be hidden anywhere in my home. When my daughter Hye-jin was little, she asked, "Mom, why do you greet those pictures every day?" "Shh, be quiet. They're our grandfathers." I covered her mouth. Even at home we had to whisper, "Careful at dinner. Careful at bedtime." This wasn't a home, it was a prison. Being a state security officer didn't mean freedom. If anything, I was watched even more closely. Getting ready for work made me nervous. Was my Kim Il-sung badge pinned properly? Any dust on my clothes? One slip-up and someone would report it. One day during a department meeting, things escalated. Department Chief Colonel Ri Chol-soo said, "Yesterday, the Supreme Leader was in a foul mood. Apparently, one of the female secretaries misorganized some documents. Comrade Ri Hye-jin, take care of that secretary." Take care of. I knew exactly what that meant. Interrogate, torture, send to a camp. I'd repeated this process countless times over 25 years. What crime was it to misorganize documents? But in North Korea, mistakes were treason. 2 p.m. I went down to the underground interrogation room. Third basement level, no sunlight ever reached there. The screams echoing through the corridors even 25 years later, they still ring in my ears. I opened the door. A woman in her early 20s sat chained. "What's your name?" "Park Misuk." Her voice trembled. I interrogated her for 3 hours. Misuk kept crying and begging, "Please forgive me." But there was no forgiveness. When I came out after the interrogation, my hands were shaking. 25 years of this work, but I never got used to it. The moment you get used to it, you become a monster. After work, I came home to find my daughter Hye-jin preparing dinner. 23 years old, third year at Pyongyang Music University, a talented girl majoring in piano. We sat at the table. Corn rice, kimchi, soybean paste soup. Modest meals ever since my husband was purged 10 years ago and our rations were cut. Hye-jin asked, "Mom, do I have to join the State Security Department later?" My teacher said so. The spoon nearly slipped from my hand. No, not my daughter. I couldn't let her work in this hell. "Hye-jin, I want you to pursue music." "But Mom, in North Korea, we have to go where the party assigns us." My daughter was right. What good were personal dreams in North Korea? That night, after my daughter fell asleep, I looked out at Pyongyang's nightscape. Lights twinkled, but I knew behind every one of those lights how many people were suffering. Is this really right? Can this system I'm protecting guarantee my daughter's future? Dangerous thoughts. A state security officer doubting the system? That meant death. But I didn't know then that this small doubt would completely change my life. That small doubt turned into a massive awakening a month later because of my closest friend. Fall 2018. The day the first snow fell in Pyongyang. I ran into Park Sun-hee in the hallway. My friend of 10 years. 48 years old, a lieutenant colonel in the same department. Making friends was dangerous in the state security department, but I trusted Sun-hee. But that day, Sun-hee's face looked wrong, pale, dark circles under her eyes. Her hands were trembling. "Sun-hee, are you okay?" She just shook her head. We couldn't talk freely in the hallway. Lunchtime, we met in a small park behind the building. Chose a spot where no one was around. Sun-hee spoke in a trembling voice. "Ri Hye-jin, they're investigating my husband." My heart sank. Being investigated meant the end. On what charges? Factional activity. But Hye-jin, my husband doesn't do that. It's just someone framed him. Tears welled in Sun-hee's eyes, but she couldn't cry. Showing tears here would mark you as weak. I squeezed Sun-hee's hand. "You have to endure. When the investigation results come out." But I knew. The results were already decided. A week later, something even more horrific happened. The department chief called me in. "Comrade Ri Hye-jin, about Comrade Park Sun-hee's husband's interrogation. You'll handle it." I doubted my ears. "What, me?" "Yes, since you're close to Sun-hee, wouldn't it be better if you do it? If it goes to someone else, he'll suffer worse." This was North Korean-style kindness. Under the guise of helping a friend, they ordered me to torture her family member. If I refused, I'd be suspected too. Sun-hee's husband would suffer more brutally. I had no choice. That afternoon, I went down to the underground interrogation room. When I opened the door and saw the person sitting there, I couldn't breathe. Sun-hee's husband, Kim Jong-un, 45 years old. He'd visited our home several times. He'd even bought sheet music as a gift for my daughter, Hye-young. I remembered the four of us, Sun-hee, her husband, me, and my daughter, hiking Moranbong together. Jong-un's face was already covered in bruises. Previous interrogators had beaten him. Our eyes met. Jong-un smiled faintly. "Comrade Hye-jin, better you than someone else." My heart felt like it was tearing apart, but I had to start the interrogation. CCTV was watching me. "There's evidence you engaged in factional activity. Confess." "Comrade Hye-jin, I didn't do it." "Really?" "I just made a few jokes at a company dinner. Said, rations have decreased lately, and that became system criticism." My hands trembled. I said, "There's evidence. If you don't confess." I couldn't continue. Jong-un spoke quietly. "It's okay, Comrade Hye-jin. It's your job, so do it. I understand. If you don't, you're finished too. Just tell Sun-hee I'm sorry. I should have been more careful." 4 hours of interrogation, repeating the same questions, forcing a confession. Halfway through, headquarters called. Instructions to try some torture. They handed me an electric shock device. My hand shook so badly I could barely hold it. Jong-un looked at me. That look, I can't forget it even now. It seemed to say, "It's okay, this isn't your fault." In the end, I couldn't do it. "I'm sorry, Colonel. I'm too weak." The department chief was furious. "Useless, call someone else." I was thrown out of the interrogation room. I collapsed in the hallway and cried. First time in 25 years at the State Security Department that I'd refused an assignment. But what good did it do? Another interrogator went in and Jong-un suffered even more horribly. 3 days later, Jong-un was publicly executed. In a square in downtown Pyongyang. The charge was anti-party, anti-revolutionary element. On execution day, state security executives were required to attend. I had to be there. Sun-hee had to be there. Thousands gathered. Jong-un was dragged out. Through the microphone, the charges were read. Kim Jong-un slandered the party and insulted the supreme leader, a traitor who lies. All of it lies. A gunshot rang out. Jong-un fell. Sun-hee, standing beside me, showed no expression. Didn't cry, didn't scream, just stood there blankly. If she showed emotion, she'd be dragged away too. Her beloved husband was shot to death right before her eyes, and she couldn't shed a single tear. That was North Korea. After the execution, as people dispersed, Sun-hee's hand brushed mine. I felt a small piece of paper in my palm. In the bathroom, I unfolded it, written in shaky handwriting. Tonight, 11 p.m. My apartment rooftop. 11 p.m. I climbed to Sun-hee's apartment rooftop, a spot where you could see all of Pyongyang's nightscape. Sun-hee was already there, smoking a cigarette Sun-hee never smoked. Hye-jin. Sun-hee turned around, tear stains on her face. I interrogated my own friend's husband. This is the State Security Department. This is the system we've protected." With those words, Sun-hee collapsed, cried silently. I cried with her. We wanted to wail on that Pyongyang rooftop, but we couldn't. If we made noise, someone would report us. We held each other for a long time. 10-year friends, a friend who'd lost her husband, and me, the one who'd interrogated that husband. Hye-jin, I can't live here anymore. Sun-hee spoke in a trembling voice. What have we believed in our whole lives? Loyalty? Revolution? All lies. We were just dogs for monsters. Dragging in innocent people, torturing them, executing them, that was our job. In that moment, I realized. The system I'd protected my whole life had killed my friend's husband. And I was part of that system, too. Blood was on my hands. Of all the people I'd interrogated over 25 years, how many were unjustly accused like Chulmin? Sun-hee, I don't know what I was trying to say. But Sun-hee spoke first. I want to leave. Even if I die, I want to die free. Rather than live like a dog here, I'd rather get shot trying to escape. That conversation on the rooftop that night would eventually lead to 16 people risking their lives to escape. I didn't know it then. But that day, something inside me completely shattered. Faith in the system, loyalty, fear, everything crumbled. On the way down, Sun-hee said, Ri Hye-jin, we have to save our daughters at least. Not here. We can't let our daughters live like us. I nodded. Yes, our daughters at least. If Hae-young, if Sun-hee's daughter could escape this hell, I felt like I could do anything. After that day, I became a completely different person. On the surface, still a loyal state security lieutenant colonel. Inside, I thought only of escape. How could I get out of here? How could I save my daughter? But alone, it was impossible. A state security officer escaping? The entire country would turn upside down. If caught, 3 generations would be exterminated. I had to be careful. And I needed more people I could trust. Right then, Sun-hee made another proposal. Hye-jin, aren't there more people like us in our department? People who lost husbands, whose families went to camps, people who resent the system. Those words became the seed. Not alone, but together we'd escape as a group. Dangerous, but it was the only way. Our secret organization was beginning. After that day, we started moving carefully. From winter 2018 to spring 2019, about 6 months of work. Sun-hee and I, just the 2 of us at first. But 2 alone wasn't enough. To escape, we needed money, information, and above all, people to protect each other. So we began contacting people one by one very carefully. The first person we contacted was Choi Young-mi, 45 years old, lieutenant colonel in the same department. Young-mi was a genius at information gathering. While working at the State Security Department, she'd even mapped out routes to Chinese brokers. The question was whether we could trust Young-mi. One lunch hour, I approached Young-mi, walking along the Daedong riverbanks. Safer in crowded places, actually. To anyone watching, we just looked like colleagues taking a stroll. Young-mi, things are hard lately, aren't they? Yeah, everyone's struggling. Young-mi's voice was heavy. She had her own story. Her older brother was caught attempting to defect 3 years ago and sent to a camp. After that, Young-mi was constantly monitored. She could be dragged away under guilt by association at any time. I spoke carefully. Young-mi, what if just hypothetically, what if we could leave here? Young-mi stopped walking, looked at me. Fear and hope mixed in her eyes. Hye-jin, what are you saying? Are you crazy? Her voice was cold, but her eyes were different. I knew. Young-mi had thought about it too, just if that were possible. Young-mi was silent for a long time. Then she whispered softly, Hye-jin, we'll all die. State security officers escaping? If caught, 3 generations get exterminated. I know. But staying here, we'll die eventually anyway. Like your brother. Like Sun-hee's husband. What's the difference? If we're going to die anyway. But at least we're alive now. Is that living? Living like dogs? Young-mi's hands trembled. I grabbed her shoulder. Think about it. There's no rush. But we can't live like this. 3 days later, Young-mi came to me. In the state security building bathroom. Water running, we whispered. Ri Hye-jin, I'll go with you. I'll be dragged away eventually anyway. Because of my brother. Might as well let's try it. 2 became 3. Next was Kim Soo-jin. 43 years old, former state security medical officer. Rich medical knowledge. Soo-jin had her story too. Her husband was a party official purged 2 years ago. And that wasn't enough. Her 17-year-old daughter nearly got gifted to Kim Jong-un. Sun-hee contacted Soo-jin. One evening we met at a public bathhouse near Soo-jin's place. The sound of water could block eavesdropping. Soo-jin, is your daughter okay? Sun-hee asked. Soo-jin's face hardened. What do you mean? I heard. She almost got given to Kim Jong-un. Everyone in the State Security Department is talking about it. Soo-jin burst into tears. Lucky the bathhouse water noise covered it. Sun-hee, my daughter is 17. 17. But that bastard Kim Jong-un. Even curses came out. A state security officer cursing Kim Jong-un. Sun Hee hugged Soo-jin. Soo-jin, let's leave together. Here we can't protect our daughters here. How? How do we leave? There's a way. It's not just us. There are others who'll go with us. 3 became 4. But it was dangerous. The more people, the greater the risk of betrayal. If even one of us reported to superiors, we were all finished. So we made rules. First, never discuss via text or phone. Second, meet only in public places, Daedong river banks, public bathhouses, Moran Bong, etc. Third, if even one person seems suspicious, stop immediately. Fourth, never tell family members. February 2019, the 4 of us held our first secret meeting at my house. Risky for eavesdropping, but we turned the radio up loud and whispered. As North Korean revolutionary songs blared, we planned our escape. First, we need to gather more people, Young-mi said. 1 or 2 won't work. Chinese brokers only move for groups, and we need lots of money. But too many is dangerous. Soo-jin worried. What about 10? I suggested. There are about 20 female officers in our department. Of those, about 10 trustworthy people. No, 10 isn't enough either. Young-mi shook her head. Broker fees alone are $5,000 per person. 10 people means 50,000. How do we gather that? And including costs from China to South Korea, we need at least 10,000 per person. Then how much do we need? Minimum $160,000. The more people, the lower the per-person cost. Brokers give group discounts, so we need at least 15 to 20 people. We caught our breath. 15 to 20 people? How could we trust that many? But there's no other way, Sun Hee said firmly. We can't do it alone. No money, routes aren't perfect, we need people. That night we set our target. 16 people. Not more, not less, exactly 16. Why 16? Young-mi calculated that 16 was the maximum a broker could move at once. For the next 3 months, we contacted people one by one. So carefully. 5th was Kang Myung-suk, 40. Her parents were in a camp. 6th was Lee Sun-ja, 38. Her husband was shot trying to defect. 7th was Chong Mi-ran, 42. A sexual assault victim. Each addition made us nervous. What if this person reports us? But fortunately, everyone we contacted had grudges. People betrayed by the system. Then trouble arose. The 8th person we contacted was Park Mi-young, 39, a relatively young officer. Mi-young initially rejected our proposal. Are you crazy? We'll all die. State security officers escaping? That's insane, she shouted. Luckily, we were in Moranbong Forest, but we were scared. If Mi-young reported us, it was over. Mi-young, please. I knelt down. Think about our daughters. You have a daughter, too. How will our daughters live in this country? Mi-young was crying. But I'm scared. My daughter, my mother, if caught, 3 generations die. Staying here will die eventually, too. Even if you do nothing wrong, if someone frames you, it's over. Like Sun Hee's husband. Sun Hee grabbed Mi-young's hand. Mi-young, trust us just once. Let's go together. For 3 days, Mi-young agonized. Those 3 days were hell. What if Mi-young reports us? All 8 of us finished. I couldn't sleep at night. But 3 days later, Mi-young came back. I'll go, I told my mother. She said, you and your granddaughter survive. I'm old, I'll be fine staying here. Mi-young cried as she spoke. We cried together. 8 people, and from February to May, it kept growing until we finally had 16. I can't tell you all 16 names here. They all have families still in the north. But they had something in common. All betrayed by the system, all wanting to protect daughters or young family members. May 2019. When the last person was confirmed, we gathered again. 16 people packed into the small room of my house. Radio turned up loud. We looked at each other's faces. I said, if even one of us reports, we all get executed. Will you still do it? All 16 nodded. If we die together. If we live together. That night we made a vow. Not leave behind a single one of the 16. Escape together, survive together. But the most dangerous journey was just beginning. After 16 gathered, we started planning in earnest. Early May 2019, a day when spring rain fell on Pyongyang. First task was deciding the route. There were 2 main ways to escape North Korea, the Yalu River or the Tumen River. Young-mi spread out a map. In my small room, radio blaring, 16 of us sat in a circle. The Yalu River route is through Sinuiju. The advantage is we have state security connections there. Easy to bribe the border guards, Young-mi explained. But there's a problem. Later, those connections could betray us. 16 state security officers escaping? That's huge merit. If they report us, those people get promoted. True. Using state security connections might be easy now, but the risk of betrayal later was high. What about the Tumen River? Soo-jin asked. Tumen River is through Hworyong. Security is relatively weaker there. And there are lots of ethnic Koreans on the Chinese side, easier to hide. But, Young-mi sighed. But there are 16 of us. 16 people crossing the river at once. We can't help but stand out. We fell into thought. Neither option was perfect. Let's go to the Tumen River. I made the decision. Yalu is dangerous. State security connections might betray us later. Better to do it on our own from the start. All 16 nodded. Next problem was money. Young Mai calculated we needed $10,000 per person, total $160,000. Broker fees, costs for hiding in China, costs to reach South Korea combined. How much can each of us gather? Sun-hee asked. I have about $10,000, I said. I had money secretly saved before my husband was purged. I have $8,000. $5,000. I only have $3,000. Adding it all up, we had $120,000. $40,000 short. I'll cover it, Young-mi said. I'll borrow from a Chinese broker. Pay it back after we get to South Korea. Brokers will trust state security officers. We'll get money once in South Korea. Risky method, but we had no choice. With money solved, we made concrete plans. Set the escape date for late May. When weather warmed, river water wouldn't be as cold, easier to cross. We each need alibis, I said. If 16 disappear simultaneously, we're exposed immediately. So let's disguise as regional business trips. Since we're state security, forging trip documents is possible. Good idea. Young Mai agreed. I'll be North Hamgyong State Security Support trip. You'll be North Pyongan Investigation trip. We'll make different documents for everyone. We started forging documents. Only possible because we were state security officers. Trip orders, travel certificates, accommodation assignments made everything perfectly. But right then an urgent situation arose. May 15, Soo-jin called crying. We'd agreed never to call because state security monitored phone calls, but Soo-jin's voice was shaking. Hi, Jin, I need to meet right now. Urgent. Why? What happened? Can't say on the phone. In 1 hour, meet at Moranbong. 1 hour later, I met Soo-jin in a deserted spot in Moranbong Forest. Soo-jin's face was deathly pale. What's wrong? My daughter. Soo-jin choked out. This morning, a notice came. 2 days from now, my daughter has to attend a Kim Jong-un reception event. And there'll be a selection there. Selection. We knew exactly what that meant. Kim Jong-un choosing women he liked. If selected, it was over. 2 days means May 17, I muttered. Our planned escape date was late May. Still 2 weeks away. Hye-jin, I'll go alone first. Have to save my daughter. No, I shouted. Looked around, but luckily no one was there. Going alone means failure. Brokers only move for multiple people. And if you go first, all of us get suspected. But my daughter, Soo-jin fell to her knees crying. Please, at least my daughter. I lifted Soo-jin up, spoke firmly. We go together, all 16, but we move the date up. Not late May, the day after tomorrow. We leave dawn of May 17th. What, 2 days from now? Yes. Everything's ready. Documents made, broker contacted, money gathered. Just move up the date. But the others, I'll contact them. Gather everyone tonight. That night I contacted all 16 urgently. Too dangerous by text or phone, so I went to each house directly. Ran around Pyongyang all night, leaving dawn the day after tomorrow. Get ready. Said it briefly and ran to the next person's house. Took 5 hours to contact all 16. Next afternoon, we held our last meeting at Soo-jin's house. 16 gathered. Why so sudden? Several asked. Because of Soo-jin's daughter. Tomorrow she gets given to Kim Jong-un. Can't wait any longer. I explained. Everything's ready. Trip documents, brokers standing by. Tomorrow dawn 4 a.m., meet at Pyongyang Station. From there, take the Hworyong train, arrive afternoon. Cross the Tumen River at night. Isn't this too rushed? Mi-young worried. It's rushed, but no choice. Can't abandon Soo-jin's daughter. We vowed not leave a single person behind. All 16 looked at each other, slowly nodded. Okay, tomorrow dawn 4 a.m. That night I went home and woke my daughter, Hye-young. Hye-young, wake up. Mom, what's wrong? Pack. Right now. A few clothes and important things only. Why? What happened? No time to explain. Just listen to me. Tomorrow dawn we're leaving. Hye-young's eyes widened. Leaving you mean, yes, escape. We're leaving North Korea. But Grandma, Ri Hye-jin choked up. My mother was still in the north. I'm sorry. Grandma, we can't take Grandma. Have to save you at least. I cried too. Wanted to visit my mother's grave, but there was no time. That night I sat before my mother's photo. Father had died 10 years ago, and Mother lived alone in the countryside, 78 years old. Mother, forgive me. Your unfilial daughter is leaving first. Have to save Hye-jin at least. Prayed in my heart. Couldn't see Mother again. My heart felt like it was tearing, but there was no choice. 3 a.m. My daughter and I left the house. Just one bag each. Left behind the home we'd lived in for 10 years, headed for Pyongyang Station. At Pyongyang Station, 15 people were already there. Last to arrive were Soo-jin and her daughter. Soo-jin's daughter was barely 17. Looked at us with trembling eyes. Everyone here? I checked. Yes. All 16. Son, he answered. Then we go. No turning back now. 4:30 a.m. The Hworyong train departed. On the train, we only exchanged glances. Couldn't speak. Other passengers were there. Through the window, Pyongyang receded. The city I'd lived in my whole life, but now a place I could never return to. Goodbye, Pyongyang. Goodbye, Mother. Said farewell in my heart, and our real journey began. For survival, for freedom, a journey risking our lives. The train ran for 8 hours. Pyongyang to Hworyong, a long journey across North Korea. On the train, we were tense. 16 on the same train, but we pretended not to know each other. Split into groups of 4 in different cars, just in case we aroused suspicion. North Korean scenery passed outside the window. Mountains and fields, small villages. I remembered traveling by train with Father when I was young. Back then, I loved this land, but now it was a place I had to leave. 1 p.m. We arrived at Hworyong Station. Hworyong was small and run down compared to Pyongyang. On the streets, people lined up for rations, children ran barefoot. This was North Korea's true face. We went to an inn near the station, a place young me had booked in advance. Got 4 rooms, split into groups of 4. 6 p.m. Young Mai contacted the Chinese broker from a payphone. Cell phones were monitored. Hello, it's me. Ready? Young me whispered softly. Yeah, tonight 11 p.m. Upper Tumen River. Come to the marked spot. Hung up and young me came back. Ready. We leave at 11 p.m. tonight. Only 4 hours left. 7 p.m. We had our last meal. Corn rice and kimchi bought from the inn. No appetite, but we forced ourselves to eat. We needed strength. Mom, I'm scared. Hye-jin said in a trembling voice. It's okay. Mom will protect you. I squeezed her hand tight, but honestly, I was scared too. If caught, execution. All 16 shot. 10 p.m. We left the inn. 16 people quietly slipping out one by one. The streets were dark. Hworyong had poor electricity, pitch black at night. We walked for an hour, toward the Tumen River, following a deserted mountain path. Nearly fell but helped each other along. 11:10 p.m. The Tumen River came into view. River water glistening in the moonlight. About 50 meters wide maybe. Wider than I thought. Across that was China, where freedom was. Wait. Young Mai raised her hand. All 16 stopped. See those guards? Young Mi pointed. About 100 meters away, a checkpoint was visible. 2 guards standing there. Did you bribe them? I asked. Yeah. Gave them $30,000. They agreed to look the other way. Can we trust them? Don't know. But there's no other way. We carefully approached the checkpoint. The guards saw us. Looked surprised seeing 16 women coming to the riverside at night. Who goes there? One guard raised his gun. Young Mi stepped forward. It's me, Cho Young Mi, the person who called earlier. Ah, yeah. But why so many? You're 16 people. The guard was flustered. Sorry, didn't mention that. But I paid you, right? $30,000. $30,000? That's for 1 or 2 people. 16 needs at least 100,000. The guard got greedy. We froze. Was this the end? Then the other guard looked at us closely. Wait, aren't you state security? This badge, that's a state security badge. We'd forgotten to remove our badges. Took off the Kim Il-sung badges on our chests, but missed the small state security marks on our collars. State security officers escaping? This is huge merit. If I report you, I get promoted. The guard reached for his radio. We were finished. All of us done. Right then, Young Mi shouted. Wait, we are state security. But we're on a special mission right now. Special mission. Yes, infiltrating China to gather information on defectors. Top secret. If you report now, you ruin the mission and then you're dead. Young Mi's voice carried force, the characteristic intimidation of a state security officer. The guard wavered. Really, is that true? Of course it's true. Would we escape if we're state security? Does that make sense? This is a special mission. But if you report, you're finished too. Leaking classified information, you'll go to a camp too. Just pretend you didn't see us. We'll be back in 2 days. Young Mi lied. But it was a perfect lie. The guard looked confused. I don't know anything. I didn't see you. Got it? Thanks. Wise choice. The guard turned his head, decided to look the other way. We moved quickly. Fast, now, I whispered. All 16 ran to the Tumen River, reached the riverbank, heard the water's sound. May, so not terribly cold, but still chilly. Hold hands, never let go, I shouted. All 16 held hands, connected like a long chain. Young Mi stood at the front. I stood at the back. In the middle, we positioned younger people like Sujin's daughter. Let's go. Young Mi called out and entered the water. We followed. The water was cold. Up to ankles, knees, waist getting deeper. Around the middle of the river, it reached our chests. Ah! Sujin's daughter screamed. She'd lost her footing, nearly fell in the water. Grab her! Sujin beside her caught her daughter. We grabbed her together. 15 adults protecting a 17-year-old child. It's okay. Mom's here. We're all here, Sujin told her daughter. We walked again, step by step carefully. The current wasn't strong, but some nearly tripped on rocks. But we didn't let go of hands. 16 people connected as one. 10 minutes, maybe? Finally, the opposite bank appeared. Almost there, Young Mi shouted. We found strength, squeezed out our last energy and crawled up the bank. Clothes soaked, body shaking, but we did it. Chinese soil. All 16 crossed the river. Didn't lose a single person. Everyone collapsed on the ground, breathing too hard to speak. But we could tell from our eyes alone. We survived. Ri Hye-jin, Sun-hee hugged me. We did it. I hugged Sun-hee too. All 16 tangled together, crying. Couldn't cry out loud, but couldn't stop the tears. Across the river, North Korean land was visible. The place I'd lived my whole life. Where Mother was. Mother, I survived. Hye-young survived too. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Prayed in my heart. Then someone emerged from the forest. An ethnic Korean Chinese. The broker Young Mi had contacted. Over here. Hurry. Chinese police patrol. We stood up. Not safe yet. Another hell was just beginning. But we survived. All 16. Crossed the Tumen River. Left North Korea. Couldn't go back now. Could only go forward. Toward freedom. To survive, we started walking again. The moment we set foot on Chinese soil, I thought we'd gained freedom. But that was a huge mistake. The broker loaded us into a vehicle, an old truck. All 16 packed into the cargo bed, so cramped we could barely breathe. Where are we going? I asked. Yeonji. You'll hide there for about a month, then we'll send you to South Korea. The broker answered. An ethnic Korean, but his tone was strange. Something felt wrong. The truck drove for 2 hours. Arrived not in downtown Yeonji, but at a shabby warehouse on the outskirts. Wait here. I'll contact another broker and come back. The broker said and left. Locked the door. From outside. Something's wrong. Young Mi was uneasy. Why lock the door? We pounded on the door, but no one answered. No heating in the warehouse. May, but northern China was cold at night. Waited 3 hours. No one came. Something went wrong, Sun-hee said. Right then, we heard sounds outside. Chinese. Several people talking. There are 16 North Korean women inside. State security officers, they say. Must have lots of money. Take their money and report them to police. We can get paid too. We froze. The broker had sold us out. What do we do? Sujin trembled. Get out through the window. I looked at the window. Small, but people could squeeze through. Hurry! We broke the window. The glass breaking was loud, but couldn't be helped. Hey, they're escaping. Shouting from outside. Sound of the door breaking. All 16 jumped through the window. Hands cut, legs injured, but we kept running. People chased from behind. Catch them! Shouting in Chinese. We ran into the darkness. Yeonji's outskirts factory district with many alleys. Into the alleys, kept running. How long did we run? Felt like our lungs would burst. Looking back, they weren't chasing anymore. We hid in an abandoned building. All 16 collapsed on the floor, gasping for breath, looking at each other. Is everyone okay? I asked. Yeah, barely. Everyone was injured but alive. What now? Mi-young cried. The broker betrayed us. All our money's gone. Don't even know where we are. True. We were lost in the middle of Chinese territory. No money, nowhere to go. Right then, we heard a voice outside the building. Is someone there? Korean. We were startled. Who are you? I asked in a trembling voice. I'm a pastor at the local Korean Chinese church. Are you defectors by any chance? The door opened slightly. A man who looked about 50 stood there. We looked at each other. Should we trust him or get betrayed again? Yes. We're defectors, I answered. We had no choice left. The pastor came in. His eyes widened, seeing us. 16 people, all women? Yes. Come with me first. If you stay here, you'll get caught by police. The pastor led us, left the abandoned building and walked about 20 minutes. A small church building appeared. This is our church. You can hide in the basement. We went down to the basement. Small but warm. Had heating. How did you find us? Son, he asked. I know about the broker trying to sell you out earlier. That broker's nephew attends our church must have felt guilty. He contacted me. Said defectors are in danger. So you came looking for us? Yes. God led me. The pastor smiled. We cried, betrayed, chased, in despair, never expected a helping hand to appear like this. But the pastor looked at us carefully. You're not ordinary defectors, are you? Your clothes, you look like people from Pyongyang. We hesitated. Should we tell? We're former state security, I confessed. The pastor's face hardened, shocked at the words state security. State security? Then you're the ones who used to catch defectors. Yes, that's right. We tormented many people. I bowed my head. But we were victims too. Lost husbands, lost family, trying to protect our daughters, that's why we escaped. Long silence. The pastor looked at us. Even if you're state security, you're God's children. I'll help you. Really? Yes. Jesus loved sinners. I should too. We cried again. First time in our lives feeling forgiven. But there was a problem. Can't stay here long. Chinese police are looking for you. North Korean state security must have contacted Chinese police. Then what do we do? Hide here for now. I'll connect you with another broker, someone trustworthy. But money, don't worry about money. The church will help. The pastor was like an angel. From that day, we hid in the church basement, cramped but safe. The pastor brought food, gave us clothes to change. But it wasn't comfortable. 16 people had to spend 3 months in a tight space. At first, it was okay. Grateful for the relief of being alive, but as time passed, conflicts started emerging. Young Ma, you picked the wrong broker. One day, Mi Young shouted. That's why we're in this mess. Lost all our money. It's my fault. I'm sorry. Young Mi cried. Sorry doesn't bring back the money. What do we do now? All 16 started blaming each other. Stress building from being locked up. Stop, I shouted. What are we doing? How does blaming each other help? We're in the same boat. If we fight here, it's over. But Hye-jin, enough. Not Young Mi's fault. None of us knew. Who could have known the broker would betray us? Sun He helped me. Right. We're alive now. That alone is something to be grateful for. The mood slowly calmed. We hugged each other. Sorry, I was on edge. Mi Young apologized. It's okay. We're all struggling. Over 3 months, we moved hideouts 5 times. Chinese police were searching for defectors. The pastor hid us and moved us from place to place. Yanji to Changchun. Changchun to Shenyang kept moving. Each time, all 16 moved together, not leaving a single person behind. One night, crisis struck. Police burst into the Shenyang warehouse where we were hiding. Defectors, come out, shouting in Chinese. We hid at the back of the warehouse. Hearts about to burst. The pastor talked with the police. No defectors here. Just church storage. We need to check. Police started searching the warehouse. We hid behind objects, couldn't even breathe. A policeman approached our direction, about to be discovered. Right then, the pastor spoke loudly. Look there, suspicious person outside. The policeman turned around. No one there, but his attention was briefly diverted. In that moment, we slipped out the back door. All 16 quickly. Fled again. Hid again. This was life in China. Endless flight. 3 months later, the pastor finally brought good news. Found a route to the South Korean embassy. Through Laos to Thailand. Really? Yes. But it's dangerous. The road to Laos is rough. Have to walk through jungle. That's fine. We'll go. We didn't hesitate. Staying here meant getting caught eventually. When do we leave? 1 week from now. Get ready. Finally, the path to South Korea was opening, but the most grueling journey still awaited us. September 2019, time to leave China. After 3 months of hiding, we were finally heading to South Korea. The pastor connected us with a new broker, a Korean Chinese this time. Said he was trustworthy. Train from Shenyang to Kunming. From there, bus to the China-Laos border. Then you have to walk. The broker explained. Walk? How far? 5 days through Laotian jungle to the Thai border. 5 days. Through jungle. 16 of us. Can you do it? The broker asked. We looked at each other. No choice. We can do it, I answered. 2 days later, we departed. 40-hour train from Shenyang station to Kunming. 16 people split into groups of 4 in different cars, pretended not to know each other. On the train, Chinese police checked IDs. My heart nearly stopped. Show me your ID. A policeman came to me. I handed over a forged ID the broker had made. The policeman examined it. For a long time, too long. Where are you going? Kunming. To see relatives. Alone? Yes. Strange. In that car, too, there are women going to Kunming, all traveling separately. The policeman was suspicious. We were finished. Caught. Right then, a Chinese grandmother sitting next to me spoke. Officer, this is my niece. She's coming to care for me because I'm sick. Your niece? Yes. Our family has many women. Nieces take turns caring for me. The grandmother naturally lied. The policeman looked at her. I see. Understood. The policeman moved on. I looked at the grandmother. She smiled faintly. It's okay. I was a defector long ago, too. Wanted to help. Tears came. Even in places like this, helping hands existed. After arriving in Kunming, we took a bus. 10 hours to the China-Laos border. When we arrived at the border village, it was night. The broker took us to a small house. Sleep here tonight. Cross the border tomorrow dawn. Next day, 4 a.m., we departed again. Avoiding the border checkpoint, we walked a mountain path. A wire fence at the border. The broker dug under it. A hole people could crawl through. Quick, one by one. All 16 crawled under the wire fence. Clothes torn, hands cut, but we endured. Laotian soil. But from here, the real hell began. From here, you walk. 5 days. Through jungle. The broker pointed at the jungle. Trees everywhere. No path. What about food? You have bread and water in your bags, right? Have to make do. Can get water at villages along the way. We entered the jungle. First day was okay. Good weather, everyone healthy. Walked 10 hours. From the second day, it got harder. The weather was hot. Over 95 degrees. Water running low. Water, some water, Mi-young said, nearly collapsing. But the canteens were empty. Hang on a little. 3 more hours to the village. The broker said. Third day, rain came. Downpour. Clothes soaked, the path turned to mud. Ah! Sujin slipped. Nearly rolled down a hill. Grab her! Sun-hee and I caught Sujin. Barely held on. Thanks. Sujin cried. It's okay. We're going together. Not leaving anyone behind. Fourth day, the biggest crisis came. Mi-young collapsed. Completely exhausted. Not easy for a woman in her mid-40s to walk through jungle for 5 days. Get up. Mi-young, you have to get up. We shook Mi-young, but she couldn't stand. Can't go on, I'll stay here. You all go. What are you saying? I shouted. What did we vow? Not leave a single one of 16. But because of me, you all... Shut up. Sun-hee carried Mi-young on her back. I'll carry you. Just hold on. I'll help too. Young Mai supported Mi-young from the side. Us too. Others took turns carrying Mi-young. 16 saving 1. We walked another day like that. Carrying, supporting, dragging Mi-young. 5th day afternoon, we finally saw the Laotian police checkpoint. There, that's the Thai border, the broker shouted. But right then, we heard sounds behind us. Stop! Laotian police. They'd been chasing us. Run, fast! We squeezed out our last strength and ran. All 16 dragging exhausted bodies, running desperately. There, Thai embassy. Far away, we saw the Thai flag. The South Korean embassy building. Almost there. 100 meters, 50 meters, 20 meters. Police chasing from behind, but we were faster. Finally reached the embassy's main gate. We're North Korean defectors. Please help us. All 16 shouted. In Korean. The embassy door opened. South Korean staff came out. Come in, hurry! All 16 rushed into the embassy. The door closed. Laotian police came to the door but couldn't enter further. This was South Korean territory. We collapsed on the floor, breathing so hard. We did it, Sun-hee cried. All 16 we survived. Yes, all 16. Didn't leave a single person behind. Starting from North Korea, crossing the Tumen River, fleeing through China, walking the Laotian jungle, finally made it here. South Korean embassy staff brought water. You've worked hard. You're safe now. Really. This is South Korea, the land of freedom. Hearing those words for the first time, I could believe the word safe. First time in my life. The feeling of truly being safe. October 2019. We arrived at Incheon Airport. After spending 2 weeks at the South Korean embassy in Thailand, went through identity verification procedures, received plane tickets, boarding passes with all 16 names written. Boarding the plane, I trembled. Really going to South Korea? Really becoming free now. Clouds outside the window. Flying above white clouds? Something unimaginable in North Korea. Ordinary people flying on planes. My daughter Ri Hye-jin sitting next to me held my hand. Mom, are we really going to South Korea? Yes. We're free now. I hugged my daughter. This all started to save this child, and we did it. 5 hours later, the plane landed. Incheon Airport. When the plane door opened, I felt South Korean air. The air of freedom. Please exit. Take your time. The flight attendant spoke kindly. Kindness unimaginable in North Korea. We walked out of the airport. So many people. Everyone laughing freely, talking, looking at smartphones. This was freedom. Black cars waited outside the airport. National Intelligence Service vehicles. You're the 16 defectors? We came to pick you up. A man in a suit said. Polite. Completely different from North Korean state security. Rode in the car for about an hour. Arrived in front of a building. National Intelligence Service investigation facility. You'll stay here for a few days for investigation. Don't worry. It's just procedure. We entered the building. Clean. Worlds different from North Korean state security basement cells. Each assigned a room. Bed, bathroom, shower. A room to ourselves. Compared to 16 cramped in tight spaces, this was heaven. Next day, investigation began. National Intelligence Service staff took me to an investigation room. Spacious room with just a table and chairs. Recording equipment. Ms. Ri Hye-jin, please sit, the investigator said. A man in his 30s, soft expression. Don't be nervous. Just tell us the truth. Investigation began. My identity, life in North Korea, reasons for defecting, defection process, they asked everything. You were a lieutenant colonel in state security. Yes. What was your work? Monitoring and managing female personnel close to Kim Jong-un. Then you must have investigated many people. The investigator's voice turned slightly colder. Yes, I interrogated many. My throat tightened. Among them must have been innocent people. People dragged in for no crime. Yes, there were. I bowed my head. Do you regret it? I regret it every day. Every night I have nightmares. The people I interrogated appear. They look at me with resentful eyes. Tears came. But I was a victim too. If I didn't do it, I'd die. My daughter would die. So I had no choice. I understand. That's how the North Korean system works. The investigator nodded. But Ms. Ri Hye-jin, you came to South Korea, you can start fresh. The past is the past. Now you're a free person. Those words made me cry more. Investigation continued for 3 days. All 16 underwent investigation. On the afternoon of the third day, National Intelligence Service staff gathered all 16 of us in a large room. Everyone, investigation is complete. Soon you'll go to Hanawon. Hanawon, the place where defectors receive South Korean society adaptation education. Before that, there's something we want to show you. The staff turned on a screen. A video played. North Korean human rights violations footage. Public executions, camps, starving children. Things we'd seen and experienced our whole lives. But more shocking was what came next. A familiar face appeared on screen. Someone I'd interrogated. Park Mi-suk, the 20-something woman dragged in for misorganizing documents. In the video, Mi-suk was in a camp. Body just skin and bones. This woman was sent to a camp for a document organization mistake. Died 3 years later. The staff explained. I couldn't breathe. I sent her there. The screen changed. Another face appeared. Sun-hee's husband, Kim Jong-un. Before his execution, this man was executed on charges of system criticism. Actually, he only said rations had decreased at a company dinner. Sun-hee beside me was crying. The video continued. Faces we knew, people we'd interrogated appeared one by one. About 10 minutes passed. The video ended. The room was silent. All 16 crying. Why show us this? I asked. You need to know you were part of the North Korean system. But at the same time, you were also victims, the staff said. Now you're free people. Remember the past, but build the future. That's the atonement you can make, and your new beginning. In that moment, all 16 collapsed. We sat on the floor and cried, out loud, wailing. 3 kinds of tears. First was relief. All 16 of us survived, made it safely to South Korea. Second was repentance. The people I interrogated, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Third was liberation. Free now. No longer a monster. Can live as a human. How long did we cry? Maybe an hour before we finally calmed down. National Intelligence Service staff brought water. You're safe now. Really. This is South Korea, the land of freedom. Hearing those words for the first time, I could believe the word safe. First time in my life. Truly feeling safe. A week later, we went to Hanwon. Received 3 months of South Korean society adaptation education. Korean language education, legal education, job training, learned so much. Most amazing was the internet. Used YouTube to look up North Korean news. What happened to North Korea after we left? There was news that state security was looking for us. But this was South Korea. Safe. After completing Hanwon, all 16 began settling in. My daughter and I got a small house in Seoul. The government provided settlement funds. First time having my own home. Sun-hee lived near our house. Of the 16, 14 settled in Seoul and Gyeonggi province. We still met each other. Gathered once a month for meals. 2 of them too struggled. Depression from thoughts of family left in the north. We cared for them together. I started working at a defector organization, North Korean human rights activism. I testified about my experiences. I was a North Korean state security lieutenant colonel. I tormented many people. But I was also a victim. The North Korean system, it turned us all into monsters. I trembled when first testifying, afraid people would condemn me. But instead they applauded. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for revealing North Korea's truth. Then I realized the atonement I could make was exactly this, revealing the truth. Now it's 2026, 7 years since we defected. 15 of 16 are doing well. One passed away from illness last year, but died as a free person. For that alone, we were grateful. My daughter, Ri Hye-jin, is now 30. Graduated from university, became a piano teacher, doing the work she dreamed of in North Korea. Sometimes I have nightmares at night. Dreams of being dragged back to North Korea, dreams of being in interrogation rooms, but when I wake up, this is South Korea, the land of freedom. I think about mother left in the north. She'd be 85 now. Is she alive? Does she resent me? Mother, I'm living well here. Ri Hye-jin is growing up well too. Someday if reunification comes, I can see you again, right? I pray every night. All 16 still gather, once a month, remembering the day we crossed the Tumen River, asking after each other. We really survived well. Yeah, all 16. Didn't leave a single person. We smile, freely. This is my story. The defection story of 16 female state security officers. We were perpetrators, but also victims. Monsters, but also human. But now we're free. Can live as true humans. I want to tell those still remaining in North Korea. Survive. Somehow survive. And if you get the chance, leave. Freedom. Freedom is worth risking your life for. And I ask you listening to this story too. Don't forget North Korea. 25 million people still suffering there. I hope our testimony, our story can create even small change. That is the atonement and hope that I and all 16 of us can offer. Thank you. Thank you for listening.